Oh, good morning, Marie. And how are
Good
you?
morning. Good morning. I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
Good morning, everyone.
I was
So,
excited. I noticed my mic was on mute and I caught it in time. There we go.
perfect. We'll chit chat with ourselves, just waiting to get some more people online here. And so, I mean, we don't want to have a show to ourselves. My goodness.
No, no. I don't think I really shared it too much this morning. I don't know if I shared it at all this morning, so that's not going to help very much. But hopefully people will catch up and watch it later if they don't see it now or whatever.
Well, we've got our usual viewers that pop along anyhow.
Yeah,
So, in the meantime, how was your week?
it was all right. It's not too bad. Always eventful.
Good. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
eventful as long as it's a positive event.
yeah, yeah. How about you? How was your week?
Bland. I gotta say,
Fine.
nothing out of the ordinary, just regular run of the mill stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so for today, what the today's show is going to be about is, as always, Serious Sundays is a political show, and this week we're going to start off with a letter that the NSCF wrote, Nova Scotia Equalization for Fairness. Good morning, Margie. Glad to see you on, darling. Hello, hello. So Marie, I'm going to put the letter up, and if you
Yeah.
want to do what you do best, you can go ahead and tell them what NSCF wrote. So I will
All right.
post the link, and you guys can also see it because we like
Yeah,
to.
it was actually in the post, I think, is what they say on there, right?
Yeah, I think they said that the post changed the wording on it a bit. And I mean, if you're going to write something into the post and you want them to share it, you think that they would at least share exactly what the heck they wrote. So
Yeah, I don't like that they do that, but anyway, we'll let them know what they really actually wrote and wanted to be heard by the public, right?
exactly.
Uh, they named it. So this was Father Maroon actually wrote this one. Usually it's Charles that I read a lot of stuff of, but I've heard Father Maroon's quite the writer too, and here he is.
Mhm.
So we the problem. The title should be We the People, but that's not the case here in the CBRM. It is becoming increasingly apparent that Cape Bretoners are the authors of our own demise. We continue to allow party politics to be our downfall, and we have historically always been that way. Why are we so easily fooled by these politicians who all promise to do the right thing until they are elected? The political party system in Nova Scotia, in my opinion, is corrupted beyond repair. What do we do with something that cannot be fixed? We throw it out. So why do we continue to elect people who represent something that is broken and no longer works for us? Why can't we try something different? What are we afraid of? Sorry, guys.
Exactly. What are we afraid of? So we don't like change, and that's normal. As humans, we get
Right.
used to doing things a certain way, and when people say let's change it, well, right off the bat, something's wrong with you to want to do it different. I mean, they looked at Tesla, everyone that came up with perpetual motion as a source for energy and things that change people from
All
making.
troublemakers. That's what they're considered, right? You're not going with the mainstream. You got to be a troublemaker if you're not just allowing for things to take place the way they always do.
Mm-hmm. So let's keep
So,
reading.
when I was attending the new CBRM Assembly of Concerned Citizens meeting the other evening, one of the members came up to me and said, "You know that Cape Breton Island was illegally annexed and that has never been addressed in Ottawa." And the gentleman continued to say the province cannot lose Cape Breton because they would lose too much equalization funding. I hear this comment a lot these days, but the gentleman insisted to continue on the conversation and said, the province has a dog in that fight, but the country does not. And Morgan and others have tried to voice the concern to the Nova Scotia provincial government. And do you think for 1 minute that they will see that happen? Yeah. I mean, we know about John Morgan, and I hear that where do people say he is now, Janet?
I think Russ said that he's in Alberta now. So after his last, when we didn't support him and when we should have, he left. He just decided that he's just had enough of Cape Breton and the corruption, and who could blame him? He
He lost by a handful of votes to John White,
yeah,
who we know is not very helpful with the equalization at this time. So, nonetheless, yes, where am I at here, girlie?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So once the meeting was over, I thought to myself, this guy has a point. Then I reflected to myself about all the political parties that have been in power in Nova Scotia and how they all ignored Cape Breton and rural Nova Scotia. The PCs, the Liberals, and the NDPs have all had the opportunity to make life better for us, but none have done so. Why? One thing is for sure, though, we had better start doing things differently around here. We had better look for a new form of representation in government, work with the Indigenous communities to implement territorial status with the federal government, form a regional government for Cape Breton so we cannot be dictated to by premiers who are owned by big business. The Irvings managed to get hundreds of millions, if not billions, from our provincial government, right?
Yeah.
I think we all know that, right? But yeah. So I'm sorry, I got it in 3 pages here, girl. From our current government. Where am I at? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a Cape Bretoner who buys a bungalow in Sydney gets a $5,000 property tax bill while in Halifax. You there?
Yes. There we go. So our current mayor and the premier don't communicate at all, and now we will receive less than before. And this is the party politics I'm talking about. We all must suffer because our mayor and premier are from different political parties. Is that fair to the residents of CBRM? Reverend Dr. Albert Maroon.
No, it's certainly not. So this is what Dr. Father Albert Maroon, our favorite, I don't know what you want to call him.
He's retired clergy, but he's always father, doctor, father, doctor. It goes that way, right? Father, Dr. Maroon. Yes.
We call him our godfather, Cape Breton, because he absolutely has everyone's backs and he's looking out for us all because
he watches out for us.
He does watch out for us, and he's our faithful, spiritual leader, we'll say. So in the meantime, this got me. I've had public ticks in my mind for quite some time. Now, Marie asked me a lot of questions about it. And I mean, until I seen this, like Russ, I had my own light bulb moment. I'm like, this is the time to announce it to the world. So go ahead and see exactly. Oh, hold on. Let's bring it back to the beginning so we could see it from the start. All right. So I shared it yesterday just to give you an overview of it because I want to talk to you about it and I want to hear your feedback. Okay. So public ticks. Public ticks is complete opposite of politics. Politics, we all go to the polls and we vote for somebody. And then after we're done voting, the winner's announced and nobody gets a voice anymore. Our opinions and what we think and how we feel, they don't care about. They've got their paycheck in place for at least 4 years and off they go. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you all next year. And we'll give you a nice little speech about how we'll change things and make things work better for everyone until they don't. All right.
That's right.
So let's go to slide 2. So the parties are over. In order for politics to work, we have to not have a party in place, okay? So if we continue to keep these parties in place, the only one that's going to benefit are the corporations that are supporting the parties, that are financially supporting the parties, and financially molding all the decisions that are made. Everything happens through whoever gives the most money. That's not fair. It doesn't represent the generation in total. It represents the few. We're the many, okay? And the many should be the voices, not the few. What do you think, Marie?
I agree with that. I mean, I love the idea of being independent, right? As an island, even. But we know we don't have a whole lot of, domestic product here right now. We really haven't been concentrating on the things we should have been to make this island self-sufficient. We've always allowed outsiders to come on in here, take up whatever resources we've got, take off when the going's good, and they seem to leave with everything, and we're left in trouble, right? We're always financial trouble, burden. All of Canada looks at us like we are a burden. It's disgusting, really.
It's designed that way. So if you make a plan and you fail to implement, the plan is to fail. Well, that's what they've done here. They've created a plan to constantly fail this island and its residents. It only moves forward the few, and the few are always the same few. It never changes. It's like a chessboard. The players on the board are the same, just their positions seem to change. They get paid more or paid, different titles. So let's talk more about that, okay? So the way we do politics now, like I said, it only works for the politicians and the corporations, and it's not helped any of us. So when we elect most politicians, we lose our say, and our opinions are no longer cared for the most part. So does anybody have any input? Do you have any opinions? What is your view on how things are done now? And what would you do to change? And how do you feel about politics? Hmm?
Yep, it's very important for people to think about politics being outside of the regular political structure of things, right? We don't want things done the same as before. Like as Janet said, not working out for anyone, not anyone who needs it to be working out. Um, I mean, we know the housing crisis and everything else is all over the world. It's not just in Canada, but this is probably the time if we were going to do a pilot project
Mm-hmm.
or maybe try a something new.
Create change and expect change if you don't implement change and do something differently. Things aren't
Right.
going to change because you go to sleep at night and wish for it, okay? That's in
right.
movies and it's fantasy land, okay? So we need to have more say in how our municipalities, our provinces, and the way the country's governed. And there's just one way to do that. We need to remove all the politicians and govern ourselves with a majority rules voting system. A lot of people are thinking that sounds very stupid, but how is it stupid when how we elect these politicians is done the exact same way? There's nothing done differently when we put these people in the podiums and the platforms that they are in. They represent us from this system we speak of. So we're not going to completely change things. We're just going to allow ourselves to have more say in how things go. So I'll leave
We
you.
need a voice. We need a voice. Yes.
Keep our own voices and not just after election or up till election day.
Right.
We all
Everything's all promise. And look at what Houston did. Hey, didn't he say he did? He said what he was going to do. He helped us out for 1 year. He didn't tell us it would only be for the 1 year, but hey, he did what he said.
Yeah. Well,
which makes me ill because I knew it.
Yeah, I expect more from my politician. I expect more from my government. Our taxpayers are never, our tax dollars are constantly being sucked out of us like a super vacuum. I mean,
Yep.
the way they pull money out of our pockets, it's faster than we can work for it in some cases for some people. So
we don't have a say in where those taxes are being spent, how they're being spent. We don't know where they're being spent. They show us the budget at the end of the year. No detailed list, just a big lump sum. Here's all of the expenses. And I know we could go through it and we could get a FOI pop. You could go and probably maybe even ask them and they might even give it to you. I don't know. Why should we have to? I mean, we should know where our taxes are going. We should be the ones to decide where our taxes are going, is what Janet and I think.
We don't understand why governing us and making the decisions for us as a general population, why it's such a secret. It just seems corrupt in that aspect. So, Marie, if you want to tell them how, read the next screen and we'll talk about each paragraph.
Well, we, the public, would log into a website like we did in our last municipal election and cast our votes for every single decision that is on the agenda for discussion. There would always be a live stream provided for transparency and input every day. The public office is going to be open. It would give a view to the daily operations. It should not be a secret. Secret meetings are for corruption and shadiness and not for the good of the public.
It's true.
Right? The in-camera meeting thing, like I understand there's certain negotiations that would not need to be seen by the public because it is a private negotiation to a point. But I think they take it way out of hand.
No, I think that, Marie, that doesn't need to be done that way.
I know you don't, but I mean, when I consider it, I mean, everybody has a right to a private negotiation to a degree, but it can't be corrupt.
Here's the thing. You don't understand tenders, Marie. What a tender is when my family was the largest garbage contractor on this island, DFM.
Right.
It's called a tendering process. A tendering process is you submit basically like an essay to your teacher, but instead it has criteria that must be met, how much you're going to be paying per unit, what your actual dollars and figure numbers are. And this is the reason that needs to be kept secret from the public, because tenders have a deadline. So it's a timeline and you submit that information, and at a certain day, so let's say Thursday at noon, we're not accepting any more tenders. Now, why wouldn't we go live, have a feed where we're opening them publicly, reading what each company has submitted, showing what each company is offering? Why can't that
I like it.
Well,
I like it, right?
But they do that in secrecy. There's no need for any of this secrecy, is what I'm saying, Marie.
I see what you're saying.
Right? So
I can't disagree with you, because I mean, I'm always of the opinion that, like, you know, you have your own private company, you have a right to negotiate what you're doing, you know. But you're right in the sense of, okay, but this is a private company that's supposed to be giving us services. We need to know our services were being provided. How much is it? How's that going to cost us? You know, I mean,
So
I can try to play devil's advocate only so far. I'm sorry, guys.
It's true. And I understand.
I mean, I'm trying to act like, oh, yeah, the private company. I think everybody knows me well enough to know that I'm just trying my best to be on the other side of things here, but I can't be, really.
Not for, look,
Yeah.
I've got too much background knowledge and information. I've got an education that'll blow people right out of the water. Okay. So I'm not just saying shit because I can. I have actual evidence or education to background or to combine my information and my opinion that will make sense and lead this community into better ways to do business. So if you're a business and you don't want the public to know, your tender is gone. You can't allow
Gone show that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're gone.
You're gone.
But I mean, I guess the situation is that, and everybody says, you know, well, listen, nobody's going to want to do business in the CBRM. And I guess you and I are of the opinion of, if you are going to be shady, why do we want you here? What kind of business do we want to be running here?
Exactly.
I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves in all honesty. I know that like we've got a long road ahead of us to try to start again with any kind of idea, but we need to start somewhere. We need to somehow look at things differently than what everyone else is, because we're not being treated fairly. We never were. Waited 27 years for that MOU for nothing, for us to be treated like crap even further.
So,
God love us on Monday. But anyway, yeah.
Again, there is things and processes in place that will give us transparency. They will give us accountability. A FOIPOP, by the time we put in to get that FOIPOP, whatever it is we were looking for information on, the decision's already been made and that door has been closed. That's wrong. That is completely taking the public opinion and saying, we don't care. We already have our
pretty much.
We're good till the next election. And if we wanted your opinion, we would allow comments on our open forums when we have our council meetings. We would allow you to have your opinion then, but we block it. We block it and we stop it. And that is where the problems lie. They stop us from ever having any after the election input. That's not right. We're still here.
Right.
Representing us, but you're not representing us. You're now representing whoever put the most in your contribution coffers. You're now helping the biggest corporations or the biggest political players, or a corporation that's not going to do anything for the people who are providing their services and paying for their businesses. There's so many different ways to do it. So let's look at the next slide, because there's still more information on how we can help make things better. So next page. You want to go ahead and read this one too, Maureen?
All right. Every day we would table 10 questions as the voting public, we would be the ultimate decision makers as a majority rules system rather than our elected officials system in place now, which is not working, as we all know. It would all be computer generated compilations based on a database compiling the most popular questions and generating the daily voting based again on the 10 most popular issues facing us each day. It's a little complicated. We'll get into it. The voting will happen every day. The office is open and will only ever be done via computer database compilation based on our, sorry, Wayne, you blocked off my...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
On our votes. The window will be open 24 hours and results the next business day. This is a rough draft, is subject to improving.
Exactly.
But let's get into this.
So what Wayne has said, direct democracy, sometimes called pure democracy, is a form of democracy in which all laws and policies imposed by governments are determined by the people themselves. Could you imagine starting something here in Cape Breton that would be a complete change, hopefully, and would just viral, go across all the entire country, because what happened here in Cape Breton worked.
We could do a pilot project, you know, and just give it a go. What is it going to hurt anybody? Because right now we are sinking bad. Iceland did it. Iceland was able to fire their bankers. Like, don't even ask. Like, look it up. Look it up, though. It happened. People have to look at taking control of their own areas that they live in. There is no need for any political head that is a corporation little patsy to be in charge of any of us. We need to decide what we need.
Right now, it's based on whoever has the most money wins the whatever there is they're looking for. They get the
Yeah.
prize, they get the bid, they get the study, they get the grant.
They get the road in front of their house fixed first, right? Little things like that matter a lot when it comes to democracy. It really does, right?
Wayne continues here, rather than by representatives who are elected by the people, in a true direct democracy, all laws, bills, even court decisions are voted on by citizens.
Nice. And that's it, Wayne. You got it, bud.
It's true. So if we're going to have a system where we are brought to the polls to vote for somebody in particular, why does it have to end there? How are they representing us when we're all complaining that this isn't working? How does that represent us when we are all against it? Think about it, right, people. If we don't start wanting to have things done differently and start going forward with making things like politics an actual thing and removing the parties, the only people who are going to be against this are people who are being directly funded or have a financial gain in the pot. All right. That's going to be the only naysayers of things of this, because people like me and Marie, people like you can see how the system is working now. And like I said, if you don't have a stake in the project,
why would this hurt you? How would this hurt you in any which way? We're talking about the most important issues being dealt with through vote, right? Rather than it being like, we know how things are going right now. The council meeting that Janet and I watched pretty much said it all. They admitted how corrupt the political party systems are right now. They themselves admitted it, right? When you hear this out loud from your government, you know, this is something. Boy, this is something else. It's not just us seeing it, thinking it, or believing in it. They are saying it because they are actually witness to it. They were sitting around a table with these people. They sat around the table and they explain it very well. And you should take a look at the CBRM emergency meeting that took place 2 days ago, because it's very, very interesting to watch. Maybe we'll even put a link on there if you can, Jen. I don't know.
So it's a special council meeting for October 19th. All right.
Okay, 19th.
Yeah. And I did write down some things out of it. So
yes,
I'm very concerned right now over CBU has increased our bus usage by 77%. So we've got 9,100 students. 77% of those students are on the bus. And if you break that down, we're talking at least 7,000 extra people using that bus. CBU has provided 2 buses, but that's not cutting it. There's people that are living here that can't catch a bus. They have to wait half a day for the bus to go by, so there's space on it for them. Now, this does not sound like it's a regular CBRM problem. This sounds like this was caused by CBU problem. Now, why is it if CBU has an extra $30 million just this year alone in tuition, an extra $30 million just this year alone, okay, on top of their other, I believe, what was it, 85 million? So 55 million plus an extra 30 million. My point is, why is CBU not paying for the transport of these people to get the buses that they need? They should not have to come here and be overstuffed in a can like sardines.
And when I write to the politicians, they say, oh, well, they gave us a bus and a shuttle system. And it's not, you know, they're just trying to tell the truth. They're not even trying to be glib, right? They're like, look, we got a bus and a shuttle system out of them, basically. What is this really? Like, come on. After you've given all of these extra people for the CBRM to freaking well house and to transport around, what are you talking about? Like, you can't just freaking well give one bus. How is that helping anybody? It's just freaking pissing me off.
Here's the thing. It's likened to, I've got 10 hungry people, but I'm only feeding 2 of you. The other 8 will have to figure it out.
And it is that way too on here. Don't even get me started on that. Now, that is the case too. So yeah.
CBU, you need to get more buses. You want to bring in and provide a crisis to our community. Well, with all the extra money that you're getting, how about providing some relief for the community and for your students who have provided all this extra revenue?
All that money for you, and you can't even damn well give them a transportation to get to their jobs, to pay off the tuition that you're taking from them. How dare you all? Like, I can't even understand this. Exactly. I don't understand the greed ever, right? But I mean, this is insurmountable to me, all of it.
They're not being held accountable for the actions that they have put into this community for us to have to deal with and live with. It's like you go into the grocery store, and if I go into the grocery store and just start grabbing bottles, I'll say jam, and I start throwing them all over the place. I created a big mess. Well, how often is the grocery store going to allow me in there to keep coming in and busting up their bottles of jam? I'm going to get banned because, hey, she's created an absolute mess in here. I can't have my people walking through aisles of busted up glass and jam, but yet we've allowed CBU to do that. We're allowing them to jam people into a house. We're allowing them to jam people into a bus. Why are we not forcing CBU to clean up their jam mess?
I agree. Jamming people in. Yeah, no, it's true, Janet. I agree with you there. I mean, I know very well, like there's a couple of students that I've been going back and forth with because I know they're subletting and they're not supposed to be. I've been telling them, you're going to get yourself evicted. You're going to be one of the homeless, and they don't want to hear that. They don't, because the rent is far too much for them to afford on their own. And I mean, what are they supposed to do, right? This is the way it has happened for them. They're thrown in.
A sub landlord system. So not only, and then we see the other landlords are like, oh my God, I've got tenants that are subletting and they're making more money than I am. So to the next tenants,
like that they just
more. So
oh man,
we're in a roller coaster of, oh my dear God, if we don't hurry up and put the brakes on this sucker, we're going to be all homeless. And I hope we've got enough space where we can live together happily. That's
honest to goodness, like better start a commune or something on this island, people. You know what? It's not. We don't want to be saying anything like that. They get all freaked out then, they'll believe us if we say that. No, but I do believe in gardening, and I do believe in like greenhouses. We should be investing in that.
Yeah. I contacted the Gershwin Center and spoke to a nice lady named Sharon, and asked her about how we could have this vertical garden over there. Now, she's going to get back to me, she said, but I feel like I will be a dusty set of skeleton bones before I ever hear back regarding how
be the squeaky wheel, girl. Be the squeaky wheel. Get that darn vertical garden.
I only wanted to. Apparently they help you with grants and get money so that they can. So anybody out there that's a nonprofit registered right now, contact the Gershwin Center, because their vertical garden is there for you, and they can submit on your behalf funding to the government so that they can help you grow food. Okay, but you have an organization. Now I've got the ball rolling. I leave it to you to continue on that motional path, because I feel that anything to do with the university, I'm blacklisted. I can forget it. So let's next talk about a thing that we seen in the meeting, Marie, about the MOU. The MOU is a memorandum of understanding. And apparently, from what they said, is this MOU that they have that's giving us $3 million less is implemented to improve. It's been improved. Now, if I'm getting $3 million less, and we're in an economy that's, like $10 million more than what is, we needed 10 million more, but we get 3 million less. How exactly is that improved? Now I'm confused on that. Now they did talk about taking the money that, the fees that they were collecting from the jail, all right, the correctional services and housing. Now they said that they're going to stop getting CBU to collect those fees on behalf of Halifax, and Halifax is going to get them directly. Now we were only collecting them on behalf of Halifax. How were those fees ever making a difference in our budget to begin with? It just seems like they've taken out the middleman to take their money, and this somehow gave us a better MOU.
Yeah, it's a savings. It's a savings, they told them. God help us.
God help us is right. So this is the type of things that are being written. If we, as the public, were able to see these silly things before they were ever dared to be implemented, because they would vote on them and they would have to have a favor. So this was a favor for most people to vote on and say, yes, that sounds like it's a great deal. But I bet you there wasn't not one single person from CBRM in this party or this meeting that took place to make these things happen. So that's my point. Anybody got any say or weigh in on the MOU or this?
Well, I know myself that from what I'm hearing, John White, my MLA, was there, and God love him, he's always been good to me. I can't really say he's been a bad person to me. I mean, he's listened to my emails and he does try to help where he can, but he said something rather upsetting to everyone, I think in all of CBRM, and he said he's not concerned about the rest of CBRM, he's worried about only his own constituents. Now, that of course goes against actually caring about your constituents, because if you don't care about the main CBRM, you're not going to get any money for your constituents in Glace Bay, John White. So you got to be careful there, bud. I mean, I know you're with the party that is right now the lead, right? The premier is conservative, and so are you, and we get it. As for Brian Comer, I understand you had nothing to say. So once again, darn it, man.
I've got a little nickname for Brian Comer. Brian Coma, because he might as well be in a coma when it comes to representing CBRM.
I don't know. Well, I do know that he should have said something other than that's a good plan. And I don't understand, like, like how all of that was taking place and people were screaming out. But anyway, and I don't know. Anyway,
we're too poor to pay attention, Marie. We're so broke, we can't even pay attention anymore to what's going on with this shenanigans.
I know, right? It seems to me that we're yeah. So what's Wayne saying there?
Wayne is saying CBU, the 7th most expensive in Canada, undergraduate residents, $8,780. Undergraduate foreign students, $8,784. Graduating residents. So 16,893 must be what the foreign students for the undergraduate, and then for the graduate of the foreign student, 25,713. So if you compare 8,780 and 8,784 for the local students, and then compare it to the 16,893 to 25,713, those numbers are ridiculously tripled. So
it makes me feel terrible. Like, are the students aware of this? Are they aware of how much more money? I saw the documentaries where some of them are, but you got to wonder, are they all understanding how very badly they're being taken advantage of?
Well, they do. And I mean, unless they obviously are smart enough to have got themselves here. So
right.
Understanding of things. So let's see. Wayne has another comment here. Low income Nova Scotians now need to be paying 50% of income on housing to qualify for rent supplements from 30%. Wow. So again, it's just another kick in the pants for anybody who's actually been born here, raised here, and been paying taxes since you've been old enough to get that straw jammed in you for them to suck it out. That's another bonus, isn't it? It's pathetic. So just one more.
How did they move that up to 50%? Are they insane? I don't get it. Like, why would they do this? It's like, we're just going to stub you into the ground, man. Like, just, ooh.
The more money they waste and the more money they send and help not this region, not the region of Nova Scotia in itself, the more money they need to get from the people who are in this region. So it's almost like a curse, and it's a blessing to be here. It's a beautiful environment, but it's a curse because once you're here, you're being taxed to death. You're paying insane prices for everything. You're retaxed to death. It doesn't matter. They are just, straws are being poked in you every which way.
Every which way, yep.
It's like acupuncture. It's straw-upuncture for taxes, you know?
I wonder how much Walmart pays into. I've never really paid real attention to see what they actually provide for us for taxes in the CBRM.
I remember when it used to be the Woolco in the Mayflower Mall, and I can remember this going back, 30, 25 years, Marie, and they were lured here with a low corporate tax, okay? And that's how they get them in here, because the more money you make, the less money the government takes from you. We'll get it from the people that can't afford it. That's how it works. And that's why we need politics. We need to stop all this foolishness and put these people back into our world, the everyday world where we live in the real world, not some fantasy world where people are going to do everything for us and make our life miserable. We don't need that. So my next point, let's see. Continue. Go ahead, Marie. I'm going to see.
No, you're on a roll. I love it. That's perfect. It's what we need to hear, honestly. I mean, I think it's one of those things where, as much as people say that, what are you going to do? Well, this is what you can do. You can start trying to consider other ideas and start trying to implement them. We have citizens assembly that is going on. We don't know what's going to happen with everything. We know there's a national assembly that is actually going to be taking place in November 23rd is the vote. I'm telling you, things are rolling, but these things can all be put together to be something that's great for us in Cape Breton. We could be doing this differently entirely than everyone.
It's true. So we can really be Cape Breton originals all the way. All right. So the next this special council meeting from October 19th, 2023 was They spoke of pressure from students, but they're putting more money into our restaurants, cars, and landlords. So the rental aspects. So I just wanted to bring it up on if the pressure from the students is, helping anyone who owns a restaurant. It's helping anybody who owns a car dealership. It's helping anybody who has real estate here. So for the most of us, the general public, we don't own restaurants. We don't own real estate or rentals. And we don't own, all these car dealerships that they speak of that are helping the economy. So again, this leads right back to the rich are getting richer while the poor are getting, again, less. We're getting double and triple the rents that we were paying 3 and 4 years ago before we were flooded with an overpopulation that can't support it. Now, it's not fair to bring people here that have to also be suffering. They're already suffering in their wherever they're from, because why would they come
Oftentimes it can be that way, especially, the immigrants, absolutely, right?
Yeah,
like
they're taking advantage of them.
refugees, I'm trying to say. Sorry. Yeah.
They're taking people who already have a huge problem in their life and in their world, and they're bringing them, but it looks pretty there. It looks really pretty, but you know what? You're coming here. There's nowhere for you to live. The groceries are unattainable. You can't afford to buy them. And, it's not right. You can't even get transportation without paying a fortune or waiting for half of a day for the bus to have room for you. This is just craziness. They're not doing anything to take any of this pressure off of us. And it's not right for the ones that are from here and the ones that are living here. Okay. It's no benefit to us, the regular Joes and Janes. Okay. It's not. My next point that I took from this is the MLAs have no idea what the MOU has disclosed in it. If
That's
they
something.
actually took part in when the MOU was being written, okay? Because I can't just see Tim Houston home in his, or in his office writing this out and not running it by everyone for a vote, all right? Because that's what they do. They bring these things up into their caucuses and they discuss them. So
that's what they're supposed to do. Otherwise, something's wrong here. Mm-hmm. They're saying that went right over Halifax's charter, whatever they decided, right? It pissed Halifax off pretty bad too. So carry on. Sorry.
So the reason why Halifax was pissed off is because it has to do with cutting the red tape on how fast developers can build. So it's going to cut into Halifax's permit money. So every time we do something on our land, whether it's to build it up, build it out, make it prettier, expand, what have you, you have to submit for a permit. And it can take, depending on how many permits they have, it could take a week, it could take 2 weeks, it could take 3 weeks. So they want to try and cut the red tape on that. And now in doing so, it's going to stop people from needing the permits, okay? Which is going to stop the municipality of Halifax, HRM, from garnering more money. Now, the thing is it seems to me that they're okay with walking over the homeless in order to do that. Now, in order to speed, to fast track something, they can still have those permit fees in place, but they can cut the times down. Now, if they're that worried about it, hire more people to do the work, hire more people that are in charge of the permits, hire more people that are in charge of the development. There's a thing called job bank. Put the jobs out there. If you advertise, and if it's about, you're worried about all this red tape processes and money being shorted, well, then get the people in there, the clerks, to have these things done. Like, again, there's so many solutions, and all they want to do is just show problems.
Because we still need those bylaws to be, to be implemented. So what is this going to fast track? Okay, that's lovely. But every time someone fast tracks things, that means things get left behind. Something important gets left behind. And this concerns me a lot. Are you saying that, the building codes won't be properly maintained? Is this what you're saying? Because that's kind of scary.
Well, that's why they need to hire more of these officers and people that are out there making sure that things are safe, because we don't need a bunch of quick buildings going up that's going to fall apart the next time we get a hurricane and kill everybody living in them. So again, they can fix this little issue.
They could.
These are hiccups. I mean, I could go in there and smack them all with a badminton paddle. Oh my God.
Drives her crazy.
Right? So my next thing on here. List of amendments to the act. So in the MGA. She speaks of municipal capacity grant. So when they had little meeting with all the municipalities for the municipal capacities grant, where were our representatives from our municipality? What happened? Was everybody off on that day? Did they not take note that it was the actual day that they needed to attend so that they could speak up and let them know how dire things are here in Cape Breton, so we could speak about getting more money? But no, they didn't go. They didn't send any representatives. They sent an email to the chairperson of the Municipal Government Act, and they said, could you just do us a favor there, do us a solid and speak up for Cape Breton Regional Municipality? We'd love to send somebody, but I mean, after... Is
that so? I didn't read that. Holy shit. Really? Pardon my French, but yeah.
This is wow. They didn't representation, and this is just me adding some bullshit into there of why they didn't. Why would they...
but no, so, yeah.
Why?
I'm just surprised, though. Yeah, they didn't send any representation, just a letter, eh? Well,
yeah,
that'd be okay. Well, whatever. Okay.
So the guy that's for all the municipalities, yeah, they probably told him to stay home. Yeah, I don't know what. In all honesty, but
oh my God,
I'm going to represent a deal, a new deal, a better deal for people that I'm representing. I'm going to at least make my presence and my big mouth heard.
Yes.
They're not just going to...
I'd like to see them try to shut her up. I'd like to see them try.
We're just going to give that a raise or more or a better memorandum of understanding to Cape Breton with a bigger, sweeter deal, because they're right nice over there.
I can't believe they would even do that. Understanding that we have 9,000 students. Is this correct number on the island?
100.
Okay, so we don't have any extra doctors or nurses or anything else right now. We don't have anywhere for them to live. The food banks are overrun. What is going on here? How could you give a municipality less knowing these things? It's not like it's not all over the news when there's W5 reports being done and different documentaries every couple of days by a student. I'm getting very upset to think that they literally think we are so trodden down upon that we're not even going to be able to get up over this. They think that we're not going to fight about this. We're not going to freak out.
Well, one more thing that I forgot to mention about, so we're always complaining about our roads. So another thing Halifax thought might be better for us with our roads was to give us back control and of 800 kilometers of provincial roadways, okay, which is basically highways. So because we're complaining about the ruts in the highways and the dips and the crevices, and once it's ice and snow is on them, it makes it super fun. It's like you're in the Mario game. Will I make it again? Oh my God. Can my
like Banjo-Kazooie.
Please, let me get to the end of the road. I want the plan. Please.
That's sad, though, and true. I mean,
it's crazy. So the province thought, well, let them control their own roads. We'll give them not any more money. No. We're going to be able to figure it out on how to operate and fix our own roads that the province has called provincial roadways for, since they built them. So we're thinking, my goodness, how will we do this, Marie? Should we go back to the Roman days with cobblestone and hope people will work for free?
I mean, at this point, that is pretty much what we would have to do. But you see what this is, right? When I look at this is like what the scumlords do to people. If they bully you enough, right, when you complain, they figure, oh, yeah, you're going to complain? Well, how about this? We'll just make it worse for you, right? And this is exactly the way the Conservative government decides that they're going to treat us here in the CBRM, right? It's like, oh, you don't like the way we fixed your roads? Then just suffer, you peasants.
Yeah. Fix your own roads.
It's like, this is so immature.
I know. It's crazy. So that's the type of things that we're dealing with here. It seems like it's a joke show, but this joke
does.
Is our political forum. This is our government and how they treat us. Now, my final point that I want to bring up, Marie, that I took up at the special council meeting from October 19th, 2023 was our premier doesn't communicate with our mayor.
Oh, I love that one. That's beautiful.
Does
How does that happen?
unusually, like, okay,
Well,
I would put on my tallest shoes, okay?
can you imagine?
I'd be up there, my 6'1" in my highest heels, Marie, and I'd be up there like his mother. Who do you think you are? That's how that conversation would start. Let's
You
go
don't.
in there and things
Who
are going.
raised you? when people write and call you, you reply.
The sweet version. Oh no,
I'm surprised though that like it's that way, but I mean they said it themselves that it's very clear that this is party politics being played at its worst. She's liberal. Everybody knows our mayor is liberal, and everybody knows our premier is conservative. Basically, smacking the hell out of a little liberal girl there is what he's doing. I find it offensive on so many levels. It makes me just want to send Janet over there in her heels.
It does. And all on
God, I'd love that.
A rude awakening of you took that position, you have that job, and you are representing the entire province, not just you're representing Berwick or this part of the province or that part of the province. No, buddy. If you don't like to represent the entirety of Nova Scotia, get out. All right.
Who was it that said, give it all to Berwick? Somebody had said it, and I don't know who, but I read too quickly. I was just, boy.
Berwick has a population of what? Maybe 20,000 people? And I'm probably exaggerating. Berwick is a blip on the map of Cape Breton. It's a tiny, tiny little town. Yeah, so we'll give it to Berwick. That was a joke. So here's a little song.
Oh, how funny. Doofuses.
Stop the party. For real, we really need to stop the parties. All these parties need to have their party favors, their party money removed. We need to take back ownership of this place, because if not, what in the name of God are we going to be living in 5 years from now? What are our children going to be looking forward to? What are our children going to be looking forward to? What's happening here is it's criminal.
And 27 years ago, think about it. We were all sitting there going, well, we got to take our dings, I guess. And even look at Darren Bruckschwager when he spoke up about the equalization. I thought I was going to fall on the floor. Oh, God love you, Darren Bruckschwager. I couldn't believe you said it. And I'm proud of you, bye. I'm very proud of you. Couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, it's like almost denying that we were owed stuff for years, but not, I don't know. He was just afraid, it seemed, to say anything. Always waiting for this MOU, being a patient team player for politics, right? Being his nice self, I'm not going to say anything. I mean, I know the day is coming where we're going to have our day to get said what we need said. No, bud, that day's never going to come. You got to not be quiet. You got to speak up when you see things are wrong. Right then. No waiting 27 years. You got to freaking say it immediately. The NSEF fighting so hard for so long, and everybody knowing it. I mean, I know that people in Ontario know it, right? There's people in Ontario that are a part of it. Like, it doesn't make sense how much they want to punish little Cape Breton. We didn't do anything to them. We didn't do anything wrong. We're just trying to survive here, really. But, if they want to punish the Liberals, that's what they're doing to us right now.
Marie, I found some of those things that I was talking about now.
Okay.
Me and Marie are talking about doing a little parody, okay? Now, if anybody else wants to be part of our parody, you're going to need to get yourself some of these, okay? You're going to need one like this. You'll need one like this. You're going to need, we've got heroes and we've got villains, okay? So we think very highly and very lowly, low of some of these people. And we are going to eventually bring you entertainment parody, and we're going to be calling ourselves CBRM2. So it's going to be like council coming for you, and we're going to say what we think they really are meaning when they do certain things on behalf of us. And it's coming in the near future. All I can say is, oh my God, when we start doing the CBRM2 parodies, be prepared to fall off your chairs with laughter, because
I don't know. It'll be fun.
It will be fun. Now, Marie, now that you see,
I want to be Marie. I want to be Marie.
You can be Marie. No, we're gonna have to play multiple roles because I don't know how many people are going to actually have
So sorry, guys.
the gumption to do it like we will. Get those sneezes out, Marie, and don't hold.
Oh my God, I'm so congested. It's like, wait, it's so warm out. As soon as the weather gets warm again, my sinuses, everything.
And it's sunny outside. So
yeah,
we're going to leave public ticks for now. We'll cut the show a little bit early this week. We appreciate everybody tuning in and putting up with our opinion and the way that we feel how things could be improved and changed. If you have anything to add, please, you can direct message myself, direct message Marie, who goes by Felicia St. John on Facebook. So make sure that you can find her. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Help us. Help.
Just ask a slumlord. They know where I'm at. They know who I am.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all you guys' comments. We appreciate you tuning in and your support. And we'll see you here next week. God knows who we're going to be complaining and ragging on next week.
Oh, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Have a great day.
Okay.